Broadcasting live from the raging ravine on the plain of Zendikar, this is Tap Tap Conceive. Hello, I'm Cameron.
And I'm Alex.
And we are here to talk to you about the magic cards.
The magical cards, specifically the ones in this pile here.
Yeah, but first, we will crack your pack. Alex, you want to do
Sure.
the honors?
Goodbye, forever. Later. See ya.
Don't worry, we didn't need to know what it was.
5.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh,
Gate crash.
Ooh.
Got a cross
this is
up.
from that guy at PAX East.
Oh.
Thank you, that guy.
I remember that guy. I've never been to PAX East. Man, Gate crash was... I remember the limited environment on this, which was let the 3 Boros drafters fight it out.
So, is the card recognizer going to work with this?
Yep.
First up, we got Smite. I love the artwork on this version of Smite. I think it's a reprint, but it's like, boom, ooh, that guy's dead.
Back when I played Warhammer 40k, I had a friend who had a Space Marine Dreadnought, and on the base was just 2 smoking Space Marine boots.
That's really good.
Yeah.
This is 1 white for an instant destroy target blocked creature.
Yeah.
Seems pretty good. It's removal.
Yeah, I mean, removal, it's like white has all these kinds of different combat traits.
Excuse me. They're usually based on aggression.
Yeah.
Or combat or something.
Yeah, so swinging into 1 open white mana was dangerous in Gate Crash.
Turns out.
I love the flavor text on that too.
What was it?
Sure. Today of all days he has to borrow my boots.
Oh, my boots.
Wah, wah. My boots.
That's the like, oh, that guy owed me $5.
Yeah.
Next up we got Croconura.
I remember this. This was
It's a crocodile frog because the Simic were crazy splicing everything together.
This was a pain in the dick to play against.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's 2 and a green for 1/3 with reach
Yeah.
and evolve.
Yeah, this clogged up the ground real good until it turned into like a 5/7 that just killed you.
Yeah, evolve is a pretty cool mechanic where it's
Yeah.
like whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it has greater power or toughness than this creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature.
Yeah.
So you play something out and then it's like you play something with 2 power, then it becomes, bigger. And then it's interesting because it's a self-limiting mechanic because the bigger it gets, the harder it gets to evolve it further.
Yeah.
But these non-symmetrical creatures though could really abuse evolve.
Yeah, they could abuse evolve really effectively.
Yep.
Because all you need is a 3/3, and this is actually like a 3/6.
Yeah.
Yep. We have Paranoid Delusions.
Cypher was a profoundly strange mechanic.
It's weird.
So what you would do was you would cast this.
Excuse me.
When it was on the, you would cast it when it's on the stack. You could exile it and put it onto a creature, I think.
Yeah, you attached it sort of like equipment.
Yeah, sort of like equipment, and then whenever it did, that creature did combat damage from then on.
Yeah, you copied the effect.
Yeah. So like, the mill effect was not terribly powerful in Dimir, I remember.
Wasn't Hidden Strings the one to get?
Yeah.
Where you just tap stuff and then you keep them tapped down if you put it on a creature with
There was
evasion?
also one that just did 3 damage.
That's pretty dumb.
Like that just nugged somebody for 3. Yeah, so you could, there were plays where you would play like, they had a really cheap evasive creature. So you'd play that like turn 3, then the 3 damage one, and get somebody for like 9 on turn 4.
Jeez, speaking of getting somebody, Big Pig. Is this Is this Big Pig or Bigger Pig?
This is medium pig, really,
Medium
by
pig?
the standards of Magic.
Yeah, I mean we've had some big pigs now.
Yeah. Blood Rush was actually a really cool mechanic in that it was an activated ability, not a cast.
I think it's super cool and very flavorful because it was really in flavor with Gruul because you can only use it on an attacking creature. So you can't use it defensively. You have to get them.
Yeah.
It's you pay mana and then you get a pump effect related to the creature. So Xertos Swine is the card we're talking about. It's 3 green, red for a 5/4. And it blood rushes her 1 red-green. Discard it. Target attacking creature gets +5/+4 until end of turn. It was usually it applies the power toughness as a pump.
Yeah.
So was it Nettle Swine was pig, Xertos Swine was
Medium pig.
Medium
Medium
pig, and then the Kessig swine was the bigger pig.
Biggest pig.
maybe.
What
Well,
was the biggest pig?
The biggest pig, I think,
It's
is
like there's the
it's the emerge one.
yeah, the emerge one. The
I don't remember its name, but it's
Yeah.
the biggest pig.
yeah, the one that the hoof.
Yeah,
the hoof
the
pig.
sort of hoof. But anyway, this set had a lot of fixing in it.
Yeah.
It's a Dimir Guildgate.
Yep.
It's a duel that comes in tapped.
Yep. Totally fine.
There have been many, many, many functional reprints of this cycle of cards.
Mm-hmm.
So many so that you could build a pretty okay deck with like.
Yeah. These are like pauper cards.
Yeah, well, it's like the only problem with these is they're slow.
Yeah.
They are duels.
Yep.
But,
They work.
You know,
They work. I guess no, you don't play these in pauper because you play the Carews, but
yeah,
from original Ravnica.
or you just play mono red.
Yeah.
This is my favorite art for Naturalize.
Agreed. Actually.
1 and a green instant, destroy target artifact or enchantment.
Mm-hmm.
The flavor text is, and if you threaten me again, your shiny steel trousers will be sprouting dagger thorn vines. I've had a rooftop runner. It's a sword turning into a tree.
Yeah. That happened to me once.
I like it's still a club. It's still not
Yeah,
that terrible
I
for
guess.
fighting.
You just take it to the sauna and like have at it. Up next we got Spell Rupture.
I wanted this to be good.
1 and a blue for an instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays X, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. That's a weird sort of non-bow.
Yeah. Well, it was a Simic card, right?
Right.
So
It's cool. Like
Yeah.
that is definitely a Simic style card.
yeah.
But like
I guess you use this to protect your what was the 0-1 flyer with Evolve?
I can visualize it in my mind.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called.
Anyway, you use this to protect it, right? You're on like a Delver strategy in Simic where you play out early threats and then just
Yeah.
they get bigger and you protect them.
Well, it's like this could be what's it called? Miscalculation if you've got a piker.
Yeah.
Or maybe like Mana Leak if you've got a 3-power guy.
I like that the wizard on the picture in here is like super jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is the do you even lift?
Spelljacked.
Yeah.
This is the it's like basically there's like a wizard trying to cast a spell and this like big beefy guy just gets up in the guy's face. It's just like, hey, stop casting.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? What are
I
you gonna
guess
do?
I guess where this
Gonna cry?
really
Gonna cry?
yeah, where this card really falls down is if you have no creatures, this does nothing.
Yeah.
Which is a drag, so Mana Leak probably better than this card.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Slate Street Rothryan.
Yeah. Yep.
2 and a black for a 2/2. Whenever he becomes blocked, defending player discards a card. It's all right.
Yeah.
Merciless to the point of psychosis. Let's give him a job. An Orzhov recruiter. We got an Ember Beast.
Yep.
2 and a red for a 3/4. Ember Beast can't attack or block alone.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
People who got 2 of these out in the battlefield, you felt real bad.
Choo choo!
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay, it's just an Ember Beast. All I need to do is like keep his
Well, it's
other
like-
creatures. Oh no.
Yeah, like a 3/4 for 3 is pretty good,
Yeah, it's totally decent.
but quite a downside. Unless you're just like trying to get him. Gruul Guildgate.
Yep.
It's the same thing as the Dimir Guildgate.
Yep.
Although they had you'll notice that these lands are unique to some of the other lands like this because it has the subtype Gate.
Yeah, which was
Because
relevant for.
there were Gate Matters cards.
Yep.
Not very good ones, but there were Gate Matters cards.
Yeah, I mean, like they were fine in Dragon's Maze.
Hey Cam,
Yeah.
your fave.
Dimir Charm. Oh, I wish this card was good.
It's
Fine.
It's
like
fine.
Ben Wheeler, I think was.
yeah, he's tried this in
Yeah,
Highlander.
and it works, right? It actually does stuff in Highlander,
It's
right?
the whole charm cycle was good. Some of
Yeah.
them were way better, like
Well, yeah.
way better.
Yeah.
But charms, generally speaking, are
Like
good.
Boros Charm is off the hook.
Boros charm's pretty stupid. What was it?
Izzet Charm is also pretty good.
Izzet Charm is probably the top of the pile because
Yeah.
it's so good.
Orzhov Charm disappointed me.
Yeah.
Orzhov Charm, I
It's
was
not
like,
great.
these 3 modes are.
I know. You're just like, just
so
be
close,
good.
Just so
Just
close.
be good.
But yeah, Dimir Charm has 3 useful modes, right? And especially considering like the final mode, the one where you like look at the top 3 cards of your library and put 2 in your graveyard.
Target player's library.
Yeah. That's pretty useful, right? Like if your opponent doesn't cast a sorcery or have a
Yeah, it's counter a sorcery, destroy a creature with power 2 or less, or look at the top 3 cards of target player's library.
like
then
if
put
this card
one
had the
back
first 2
and the
modes
rest
and
in
then
your bin.
cycling.
Yeah. You know, it's all right.
Yeah, like better cycling.
Yeah. We got Void Walk. 3 and a blue. Exile target creature. Return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step with Cipher. So I guess you try to, like, blink them out.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Seems like a lot of mana, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pseudo removal.
I guess so, and it also, like, if you have ETB effects, it's fine. I never got much value out of this one.
Remember not to void walk the creature that has the cipher.
Yeah, that would be embarrassing.
Coded on it.
Whoops. Here's a cycle that was fun.
Yeah,
The key runes. So we got Orzhov Key Rune. It's 3 mana for an artifact. It taps for black or white, and then black-white. It turns into a 1/4 with lifelink until end of turn.
Like, I guess this is where Wizards has settled on mana rocks being at 3 mana.
Yeah, the best, most playable ones are 2.
Yeah.
Well, the best one is 1, but
Well, yeah. The best ones are
never,
0.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
We'll never see Soul Ring again, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But the 2 mana rocks that tap for 1 or filter for 1 are really good. But I think they've settled on
3.
them costing 3.
I mean, we'll never see Soul Ring except,
In
the-
Masterpieces.
in the
In
set
the
that just
newest
came
sets.
out.
Yes.
In the Masterpieces.
Well, actually,
actually, it's not strictly speaking it. Never mind.
these were useful.
Yeah, they seem fine, because it fixes your mana, and then just sometimes you get to beat people with them.
Yeah. Yeah, they had interesting abilities. I liked them. I'm not sure they were good, but I liked them.
Speaking of not sure if good, Biomass Mutation.
Right.
Right, this set had hybrid mana in it.
Yeah.
X and then Simic Hybrid. Instant. Creatures you control become XX until end of turn.
I mean, I suppose you could do like some kind of mirror entity shenanigans with this where X is 0 and you wipe out your own board, but that's even bad.
That's
because,
probably pretty bad. Like, this is just like a bad overrun.
Yeah. Like super bad.
Like, it's a
overrun.
real bad overrun.
Yeah, but it's instant.
Yeah, so I mean, the game's stalled out. You swing in with your small, terrible creatures, and
Yeah.
then they just become huge.
Hopefully huge.
Hopefully huge.
It's kind of a deceptive card, though, because like at first glance you think it's like an overrun,
Yeah.
and so you think it's plus X plus
Yeah,
X, and then
no,
you're like, oh wait a minute, no.
No, it's just XX.
So it makes all
It's
my
like-
good creatures bad.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
And my bad creatures
mediocre. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
All right,
yeah, very
well.
disappointing.
Do you ever find a card and you just want to build a whole deck around it?
Frequently. Tell me about this.
I got one for you.
Oh,
His
all
name
right.
is Voltaic Brawler, and he is from
Muy picante.
he's from Kaladesh. It's a brand new card from the most recent set. I think we talked about this on the last Tap Tap Concede.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am stoked for this guy.
Yeah, no, this guy
I think
is
he's
real.
super nuts. So to just briefly go over this card, red-green human warrior 3/2. Are you sold yet? I'm
well,
pretty okay with that.
It's got a bad casting cost.
That's okay. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy counters. And
Okay.
whenever it attacks, you may spend 1 energy counter. If you do, it gets +1/+1 and trample until end of turn.
Okay.
It attacks twice as a 4/3 with trample, and then is just a 3/2 for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that seems all right.
Beep, beep.
Yeah, here comes the airplane.
This
All
boy
right.
is getting into the red zone. So
Yeah, what a beautiful boy.
I was like, this card is amazing. I've not built Gruul Beats in Highlander in ages, if ever. And so I decided I would.
yeah,
so-
also the art on this is unstoppable.
It's pretty
I love
sweet.
how like the gauntlet is pulling all the metal objects
It's like,
on
oh,
the nearby stands towards it.
And I guess this card is also a good illustration of energy being good even without other energy.
Yeah.
yeah, this was like a classic example, I think, because I think most of the energy cards they printed in Kaladesh were non-parasitic, which is that like they both create and utilize their own energy. There's a few cards that just make it on their own or utilize it on their own, but a lot of the best cards are like, you could play this card in a vacuum with no other energy and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's actually better than fine. This is nuts.
Yeah, and if you find some way of generating more energy,
Then it's even better.
yeah.
So I have no way of generating additional energy, but attacking twice for 4 with trample
Yeah.
is
Right, so
Like, and
fine.
at which point this guy probably stops being relevant on like turn 5 or 6.
I don't know. Trample's always good, and
I
you'll
guess so.
you'll see why when
Well,
you see the
like
rest
he
of the
doesn't
cards.
have vanilla trample though,
No,
right? So
But-
like,
So like this guy
once
could
he
come
runs
in-
out of gas.
This guy could come into play with like 2, whatever voltaic counters,
yeah,
Yeah,
and it would be the same for
it would
your
be
deck.
exactly the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
So Gruul Beats is an archetype from like various sets of Magic.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it's a thing in Highlander. It's pretty simple. You play supremely aggressive creatures in red and green, and this version I've opted to play burn spells and pump spells as backup. So it's a pretty straightforward strategy, and then I just chose entirely creatures and spells that support that. So in no particular order, we're going to go like creatures and spells through here. These are not terribly well sorted. So Burning Tree Shaman. Hey, turns out this guy's really good. I've never played with him before, but when they've
Yeah.
got equipment,
oh,
like my opponent had a GTA, and I was like, oh, I'm not quite as scared now because
Yeah.
equipping it domes you, activating it domes you.
yeah,
He wastelanded me and took a damage.
right.
It's
Oh,
a 3/4
wow, yeah.
for one red
Suddenly become
green.
acutely aware of how many things are activated abilities.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, there's a little bit of mana denial in this deck.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Magus of the Moon. There's a Blood Moon in here somewhere. It's a gray ogre that turns everything into mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And because I play basic forests, I don't really care about that.
Right,
Either
right,
that
right.
or I've turboed out enough threats that it doesn't matter.
No, yeah,
And
yeah.
in a really greedy mana base, this is like backbreaking.
Oh, absolutely. Like there are people out there who play 0 basics, right? Run.
Got to beat the blue decks. This guy's good. 4/4 for 4, can't be countered, can't be targeted. Oh, and he regenerates. So he lives through Wrath of God. Well, not Wrath of God, but Day of Judgment,
Yeah.
which nobody plays. So here's, I play a lot of these 1-drop aggro cards, and we
Right.
got a bunch of them, because like the last time I built this deck, it was mainly just like Goblin Guide and like Jackal Pup and stuff like that.
Right, right.
But now
yeah,
we've
the
got-
last few sets have been really
Yeah,
good.
now we've got
lately.
like Zergo Bellstriker, and like we've got Falcon Wrath Gorger now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, maybe I can theme these things.
Do you have what was the other one? Falcon Wrath Aristocrat.
Tattermange Maniac. That's black, red.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Stromkirk Noble.
He's
is
in
the
here
one I'm
as
thinking
well.
about.
Yeah, let's get all the 1-drop aggro guys.
What's Tattermunge?
I don't want to think
He's
about
wearing a head of the thing. So the theme around these 1-drops is that they all cost 1 and they have 2 power.
it. Yeah, they're all Savannah Lions.
Yeah, Keswick Prowler, Goblin Guide, Rakdos Cackler. You just get a density of these, really, really aggressive creatures. Stromkirk Noble. There's probably some other ones in here, like, the classics. There's Skyshroud Elite, which is secret tech in Highlander.
Yeah.
This is a second
how,
copy of Kurdape.
Yeah, how often does your opponent control a non-basic land in Highlander?
Oh, frequently.
Yeah.
And of course, that
good old
you can't
reliable.
build a Gruul deck without Kurdape.
Yeah.
It just isn't possible. It's a 2/3 for 1
Yeah.
with just about no downside. And of course, Monastery Swiftspear.
Yeah. Taylor
Because-
Swift.
Taylor Swift, because we play burn spells and pump spells. So yeah, like everything's designed to be aggressive, and a few of them have additional sort of tech against
Right. I've heard
particular matchups.
I've heard this guy described as green.
True Name Nemesis?
True name.
Yeah.
True name nemesis.
That's what I've heard. I haven't seen that borne out yet, but
We're talking about Great Sable Stag here for 1 green green. Great Sable Stag can't be countered and has protection from blue and from black. It is the 3/3 elk.
yep. Ineffable and incorruptible. So, this is going to be okay in matchups that aren't blue or black, but
Yeah.
against blue or black, it just walks right past their entire team and can't be killed. Borrowing tech from Mono Red, Hellspark Elemental. It's like a half-size ball lightning
Yeah.
that you get to flashback, well, unearth.
Right.
Just
Right.
flashback for creatures. Could you mute me for a second, Paul? Excuse me. Thank you. Speaking of big pigs,
Yep.
was this one of the pigs? I don't remember.
It's a beast, not a boar. So actually, not a pig at all.
But yeah, this usually when a mechanic is introduced in a set, like one card among them will often emerge as like the playable one. And
Right.
that's
Yeah.
this one. There's a few other ones that are kind of playable, but this one's the best.
Yeah, I'm going to guess it's the trample that really pushes this one into the...
It's the trample, and it's also the +4/+4. We're,
Right.
of course, talking about Gore Clan Rampager. 2 red-green for a 4/4 with trample. It's fine.
Yeah.
With Blood Rush, to give target attacking creature +4/+4 and trample.
Yeah.
It's just like, get them!
Yeah.
This is a very...
Like, this being uncounterable
deck.
is really...
What percentage of the time do you actually cast it? Do you ever
Not
cast
a
it?
lot. No, you do, because like if you need a threat, it's a perfectly good threat. It's actually quite a good threat, but a lot of times you're just going to be like, get them. Speaking of get them,
Yep.
Hell Rider in the
Hey-o.
house. This is part of a series of cards in the deck. There's a couple of sort of sub-themes in here where you play copies of cards that have a similar effect. So the 4-drops in this deck have to be absolutely devastating because that's the top end of the deck, and it's going to be the last cards played on the curve. So you have Hell Rider, you have Hero of Oxid Ridge, and you have Shaman of the Great Hunt. And
Which is unspeakably dank.
Yeah.
Tell me about this card.
So, yeah, Shaman, I mean, all 3 of these creatures have haste, have a decent amount of power, and all 3 of them have a pump your team style effect. So you play out, 2 or 3 really aggressive creatures, and then you just slam this and kill them with it.
Yeah.
Shaman of the Great Hunt is 3 and a red for a 4/2 with haste, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Yeah, so
That
this gives
includes him.
Yeah, this gives your entire team the vampire ability in Innistrad,
Yeah,
or
or like
the
Slith ability.
Slith ability, yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Yep.
It has a ferocious activated ability. So 2 and then hybrid Simic. Draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Oh wait, he has 4 power.
Yeah.
So this can just be draw a card.
So this guy's just Azure Mage.
Yeah, he
with
also
4 power, 2 toughness,
once he pumps the rest of your team, you could be drawing a lot of gas off of him.
Yeah.
So this is another card I've been wanting to play for ages and found a home in this deck. There's just cards that are
like All-Stars.
too good to not play in Highlander.
Yeah.
Like Kitchen Finks, if you're in white or green, there's almost no reason to not play Kitchen Finks. A 3/2 that gains you life with Persist, it's just strong. Same thing with Scavenging Ooze. This is one of the top 10 most played cards in Highlander.
I believe it.
And Legacy.
Yeah.
I don't think it gets played in Vintage, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Following on the footsteps of the 1-drops with 2 power, 2-drops with 3 power, there's a lot of those in this deck, including Avatar of the Resolute, who is so big that his head doesn't fit in the frame.
I hate it when that happens to me in pictures.
It's green for a 3/2 with Reach and Trample. And usually you want a lot of text on cards like this. Like this is the suite of cards like this.
How often do you get the +1/+1 counters?
Probably not often. I don't think there's a lot of creatures in this deck, honestly, that do that, but
This is
enough.
one of the corner cases Ben Wheeler was telling us about with Gorehouse Chainwalker
Yeah, I know.
being better than Terrain Elemental.
Yeah, I hate it when he's right about stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this is, again, part of a suite of cards. Garrick's Companion, which is, excuse me, the same card, but just a 3/2 with Trample. Excuse me. Flinthoof Boar, which is like a big Kurt Ape.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a 2/2 that gets +1/+1 as long as you control a mountain. So that makes it a 3/3 for 2. But it also, you can pay red to give it haste.
Yeah, these guys were originally from like M14, I think, or M13,
Maybe
and
this
they
is,
were like
maybe
first
this is
pickable.
Big Pig or Small Pig.
That's
Medium
that's-
Pig.
Yeah, that's Piglet. Oh, bother.
Strangleroot Geist,
dear.
more creatures that, they don't have as much power, but it has haste, and then it gets bigger. Yeah, green for 2/1 with haste and Undying. That's pretty good. Colonian Tusker, it's just a 3/3 for green. Ain't nothing fancy.
No, yeah.
But the 3 toughness is a big deal because there's a couple of other cards that are like this. But I've heard they're not as good because that 1 point of toughness is
Yeah, it
actually
makes
relevant.
a huge deal.
Well, you attack with this into a piker. It's the difference between this killing it or trading.
Yeah.
So they're probably also still playable. And of course the
Yeah, the
Tarmogoyf.
because
Tarmogoyf is fair and balanced. Fair and balanced.
utterly fair card.
We missed Dryad Militant, but it sort of leads into another suite of cards that have tech against other decks. Like, because a lot of these aggressive cards have secondary functions, especially stuff like Scavenging Ooze,
Yeah.
of just hating out certain strategies, certain decks. This one is
Like,
kind of backbreaking against Storm.
yeah. Yeah,
'Cause,
absolutely. It's,
yeah,
you
it's a-
never want to see this as a
It's a
Storm player.
2/1 for one, not Azorius, Selesnya hybrid. And if an instant or sorcery card would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So it makes running your graveyard back.
Yeah,
with,
this trash cans your Yogg's Will and
Yeah.
Past in Flames.
Reclamation Sage, I don't know if I could play a green deck that didn't have this card in it.
It's so pretty. Also, this promo.
Yeah.
Like-
it's just good.
Yeah, Rex Sage. It's a 2/1 for 3 or 2 and a green. You get an Elf Shaman, but it naturalizes when it enters the battlefield.
Yep.
Or disenchants. Disenchants.
Yeah, it gets an artifact or enchantment,
enchantment,
which
yeah.
is why it's so good.
Yeah, like blowing away an O-ring in Highlander. That's locking down one of your threats with this.
Yeah, or just like their GT or Time Vault or something.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you like drawing cards?
Yes.
I like drawing cards, especially in
Oh,
green.
It's green.
It's also a big creature,
Yeah.
so this pulls double duty, and even if they even if they deal with it immediately, if you've played a land and made a clue, you still get advantage off of this.
Yeah. And with fetches, you can do all kinds of shenanigans at instant speed.
Just so many draws.
Yeah.
Here's one more one drop that I forgot about. Experiment 1 is, well, that's weird. It's like flipping back and forth. It's a 1/1 with evolve for 1 green. Look, it's evolving right before our very eyes.
Yeah.
This is freaking me out. So like this one, it comes down on turn 1, and you play another Piker or one
Yep.
of those cards, and then it is a 2/2.
Yeah,
and then
this
it
was played
becomes
in
bigger.
standard
Yeah.
when it was in season. Also, for
Yeah,
the record,
like a
Graham
4/4
is-
for
or,
1.
Alex is playing the correct gate crash printing of
Oh yeah,
Experiment
totally.
1.
I don't like.
Oh,
reprints.
the drill.
Get drilled on.
Yeah.
Hooting Mandrill's a 4/4 with trample for 5
I
and a
remember
green.
when these were going to be so awesome, and then
they
we
have
got
Delve.
we got Gurmag Angler.
Yeah, or Tassiger.
Yeah.
Although, honestly, conditionally, this can be better because
Okay.
trample's really important.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think both of these. No, actually, I don't play Gurmag Angler in Golgari Aggro because
You kind of need your graveyard, don't you?
no, it's because I play Tassiger instead.
Oh,
and
well,
he's
yeah.
just better.
Yeah. If you can activate Tasker, he's better than Angler.
Yep.
Right?
Yasova Dragonclaw, more creatures with trample and too much power for not enough mana.
Yeah.
But also, at the beginning of combat on your turn, you can pay 1, and then is it hybrid? To gain control of a creature your opponent controls, give it haste and untap it.
Yeah.
So you just threaten something every time
Yeah.
she attacks. It's
I
like,
mean, it
stop
has to-
hitting yourself. Stop
Yeah.
hitting yourself.
I mean, it has to have 4 or less power, but
Choo-choo.
I mean- yep. Here comes the airplane.
Brr, brr.
Bogart Ram Gang, all
Yeah, it's like
stars.
triple hybrid Gruul mana for a 3/3 with haste and wither.
Yep.
What a weird mechanic.
Yeah.
Wither
yeah.
is like pre-infect, sort of infect for creatures. It deals damage in the form of -1/-1 counters. So if you get hit by this, you stay hit.
Yeah.
It's sometimes pretty good to just crash into something huge.
Yeah.
It feels like your this deck does put a big a premium on trample as a
Trample,
and haste.
yeah, trample and haste are 2 very strong themes in this deck because they just lend themselves to the aggression. It's like you're getting in ASAP or through any obstacle.
Yeah, and like,
Because these colors don't have
yeah.
any like flying or evasion or something, but trample is a form of evasion.
yeah, exactly. Well, it really makes it difficult for your opponent to stabilize.
Yeah. Why go over when you can just go straight through?
Trample is like the opposite of evasion.
Yeah.
It makes the opponent's creature evade you.
Yeah.
Yep. We're not done with creatures with trample. Fanatic of Xenagos. Remember this guy?
Ah, yeah.
1 green-red for a 3/3 with trample and tribute 1. This is one of the few Punisher cards that actually was good because both of them are terrible for your opponent.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember this
They
was
can-
like,
Yeah. they can choose for the creature to get +1/+1 and haste until end of turn, or to just make it a 4/4.
Yeah, do I get Ford now or Ford later?
Yeah, choose.
Yeah.
Choose. Duskwatch Recruiter.
This guy, I love this card,
This
actually.
guy's super sweet because it's both potentially a huge creature for not enough mana because it flips into a 3/3 and also just draws more gas.
Well, I really love that it encourages you to flip it because you can activate its ability, then it will flip, right? You play it, turn 3, activate its ability, you do like this weird impulse thing.
Yeah, the flip side of this card is creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and it's a 3/3. So, yeah, it discounts your creature cards when you flip it, and as Cam says, it has this activated ability. Handwear Garrison.
Yep. Get the boys.
Get the boys. No, it doesn't like Handwear Garrison.
Oh, the art may be too dark.
It's from maybe.
Maybe.
It's from
Let me.
Get it out the sleeve. Get the boys. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 and a red for a 2/3. Whenever it attacks, put 2 1/1 red human creatures onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking.
Oh, it's Red Hero of Bladehold.
Yeah, but there's more. I'm actually going to skip right into the land section for a minute because I do play Handwear Battlements,
Yep.
which is the pair to this card, which is just a land that taps for colorless and for red and tap, target creature gains haste until end of turn. So in case any of my creatures don't happen to have haste, I give them haste. I've never done this, but someday
It will happen.
it'll happen.
Well, I love this kind of interaction in Highlander where you're playing like 2 very good cards that if you find both of them, just win the game.
Yeah,
Right,
I
like-
think they're playable on their own, and then just one time
Yeah.
I'm gonna make Handwear the
like
Writhing
occasionally,
Township.
like you can play like in Highlander. One of the classics is you play like Mindslaver and you play not Teleria West. You play Ruins,
Academy Ruins.
Academy Ruins, and both of those are good cards in the blue artifact deck.
Yeah.
And then you can also just if you find both of them, you can Slaver Lock,
Yep.
right?
And it's like you don't get to play ever again.
Yeah.
Related to Handwear Garrison, Goblin Rabblemaster. These are cards that go super wide. 2 and a red for a 2/2. Other goblin creatures you control attack each turn of Fable. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 red goblin creature with haste onto the battlefield. So it makes a free token when you play it.
Yep.
And then every turn after that, it gets bigger and bigger. Oh, right.
Yeah.
But did I mention that it gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each attacking goblin when it swings?
Yeah. No,
Pretty
I
stupid.
love this guy.
Highlander All-Star, Flame Tongue
FTK.
Kavu. Just play this card. If you're in red, play this card. It's so stupid. It is too much power and too much removal for not enough mana. 3,
Yeah.
and like such a splashy color.
It's missing one word.
Yep. Yeah. 3 and a red for a 4/2. When it comes into play, it deals 4 damage to target creature.
It's just missing one word for it to be perfect,
Yeah.
which is a may.
Oh, yeah. That's the only thing is like it,
Yeah.
it can shoot itself, but that's fair.
Well, it has to shoot itself if it's coming into an infinite.
Another
right?
All-Star, Bloodbraid Elf.
Yep.
This card's pretty stupid.
Yep. Banned in Modern.
Yeah, it's a 3/2 with haste for 4, which doesn't sound great until you read that it has
Yeah,
Cascade.
So what can you hit with Cascade off this?
Oh, I don't know. A lot of these 3-drop creatures that we saw, I
Yeah.
have about 1 million burn spells.
Yeah. How good must it feel to like
You could hit this next card. You just get a free Boon Satyr.
Yep.
Or you can, or we've just run out. You could maybe hit a Blood Moon. Wouldn't that be
Just
a thing?
'cause, yeah.
Just cause.
Yeah.
Just gonna,
Oh!
and then he
No,
casts.
why this one?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Just
reprint?
for the record, Alex is playing the black bordered Blood Moon.
There we go.
There
Got
we go. There we go.
No, this.
Oh, ooh. no.
The original,
Wee.
the dark Blood Moon is real pretty.
Oh, how bad must it feel to like get Blood Mooned out by a white bordered Blood Moon? And your
that's
opponent's just
dirty.
like,
What's it like to be a
Yeah.
pile of garbage?
yeah.
So yeah, Blood
No,
Moon.
no, that'd be the ultimate. Like your opponent Black Lotuses into white bordered Blood Moon.
That's disgusting.
Hateful.
Blood Moon is again sort of, hates out greedy mana bases, which are troublesome for a deck like this. You can play this in obviously mono red and then like red X usually.
Right.
3 colors is not such a good idea. I think I've seen people do it though. If you build it carefully enough, you can.
Jared was running this in Death D&T in Modern, which was
Like
a black
Boros?
white. Yeah, splashing
Whoa.
red for Blood Moon.
That's nuts.
That was in Khan's Standard, where there were a lot of like Abzan, or not Khan. He was running it in Modern. This was just right after Siege Rhino had come out,
Jeez.
and there were a lot of very greedy mana bases.
Well, so you know what this? You
Yeah.
know what aggressive decks hate? Life gain.
Yep,
You know what stops life gain?
this.
Sulfuric Vortex. I heard about a game where each player had a Sulfuric Vortex in play, and they're like, "Let's end this quickly."
Yeah. You
2
or
red,
I,
red.
or both must fall.
Enchantment. It prevents life gain, and it deals 2 damage to each player on their upkeeps.
Yeah.
So it's great because normally effects like this, like Howling Mine,
Yeah.
will trigger
hit-
only on your upkeep. So you play it and it does nothing for a turn. This is on
or-
every player's upkeep.
Well, no. The thing that kills you with Howling Mine is that the first trigger is your opponent's.
right, and yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
So
and
you
like,
play it,
this
they
is,
draw,
This
then
is the
you
correct
draw.
implementation of this card.
So you play this, they get domed,
Yeah.
then you get domed,
Yeah.
then they get domed again. And they can't, Kitchen Finks or Wormcoil Engine or
Yeah,
Battered
I
Skull
can't think of any time.
or Jite.
Like, this is one of the cards that actually frightens me.
It's pretty scary.
Like most of the other cards, I'm like, yeah, I can deal with this. There are lines. Sulfuric Vortex frightens me.
Yeah. You know what else should frighten you?
Rancor.
Rancor.
Yeah.
The pump spell that never goes away.
Rancor is just really unhappy. I don't.
So
like,
for 1 green, it's an enchant creature that gives it +2/+0 and trample. But wait, when it's put into a graveyard from play, put it back in your hand. So this dodges the biggest pitfall of auras.
Yeah.
Which is that they're always a 2-for-1. Because
Yeah.
you suit a creature up, the creature gets killed, you got 2-for-1. Except with this one.
yeah, and
Because-
Boon Satyr, which
Yeah,
we looked
but, yeah,
at.
Boon Satyr
yeah.
and stuff like that is sort of sidesteps that. So like creature enchantments in Highlander, very few of them get played. They have to be either monumentally good or, replace themselves or come back or something.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is a perfect
Or like
example.
protect themselves.
Yeah. So like the creature enchantments that get played are like Splinter Twin
Yeah.
and Rancor.
Does Angel Suit see any play?
I've never seen it played.
Okay.
But it probably gets played in Boggles, but
Right.
that's because Boggles is a crazy deck.
Boggles is a wrong deck.
How would you like protection and pump in one
Oh.
spell? This begins our sort of suite of pump spells, which I've been very happy with so far. I don't play a lot of them. There's only 5, but
Okay.
they're really good.
Yeah.
Because you have these supremely aggressive creatures with either haste or trample. And what could make them better? Well, more power all of a sudden.
Yeah. Like you want to cascade into any of these.
Yeah. So we've got Vines of Astwood, and these all have something in common. Vines of Astwood is a green to give a creature Shroud, and then Kicker for another green to give it +4/+4.
Or hexproof because it's
Sorry, hexproof,
opponents.
Groundswell, same thing. It gives a creature +2/+2 unless you have landfall, and then it's +4/+4. So both of these spells give creatures +4/+4. So does this one. Might of Old Krosa, which is $12 because of Modern.
Yeah.
Another +2/+2 effect, but if you cast it on your main phase, it's +4/+4. So you make your creatures colossal.
Yep.
Speaking of which, one more. It gets +4/+2 and trample. Colossal Might, red-green, instant. Just bigger. But when you really, really have to put them away,
Yeah.
you just have to become immense.
Yeah.
5 and a green with Delve, so 1 green. Target creature gets +6/+6 until end of turn.
That's a big boy.
Enoch Chuck! So, you could play a couple of these. You've been casting some burn spells, which we're about to get to. You delve and cast that for 1, and then they just die.
So you don't even play actual giant growth in here, right?
No, it's probably fine, but I think these ones are better because like the extra point is just good. I could play giant growth. I could play
What's the red giant growth?
the brute strength.
Brute strength.
Yeah, I could play both of those, and depending on how this deck goes, maybe I will. But the list is awful tight at the moment. So
Right.
on to burn spells. I'm playing like about 6 lightning bolts. So incinerate, searing spear, lightning strike, lightning bolt.
Oh, why? Oh, no. It keeps going to wronger and wronger cards.
There's chain lightning. So these are all 3 damage, 1 to 2
I never noticed
mana.
that before, but chain lightning is a watercolor.
Is it?
Look at the clouds.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's very pretty.
Nice. And then just like a couple of other miscellaneous burn spells that are good, like burst lightning, probably the best shock they've ever printed.
Yep, because it can turn into a fireball.
Yep. A 1-size fireball.
Yep.
And then fork bolt, as well as arc trail, because 2 for 1 of your opponents. Moving creatures out of the way is really good because it's like, you can fork bolt or arc trail and then haste guy straight into them.
Right. Out of curiosity, when you like swing in with a trample creature into something that already has damage marked on it, you trample over for more, right?
I don't know.
I think you do.
Maybe. Judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's enough damage to kill it.
Right, yeah.
It's like death touch.
Yeah.
Trample is
Okay, yeah.
So then you've hit your opponent as hard as you can, and they're on the ropes, and then you just have to kill them. You have to close the deal.
Right.
So that's what Fire Blast and Price of Progress are here
Ooh,
for.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
the biggest burn spell of them all. So Fire Blast, of course, is 4 red instant, 4 damage to a creature player, which is way too much mana.
Yeah.
Except it's actually free because you can sack 2 mountains to cast it.
Force of red.
Force of red. And then Price of Progress domes each player for 2 damage for each non-basic they control. Did you know, if you have Blood Moon in play and you cast Price of Progress, it still counts them as non-basics?
That's brutal.
Oh dear.
Yeah, because it doesn't change their...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because they become mountains, but not basic mountains.
Yeah.
Is that why?
Yeah, I believe so. It's
Right.
weird. Couple miscellaneous spells at the end. Flame Slash, which is red Doomblade.
Yep.
You never hard cast Flame Blast, eh? Like
Fire Blast?
Fire Blast?
Almost never.
It's always the finisher
You're
with the double
usually
sack.
using it to kill your opponent after your last like big attack, or you can use it in desperation to kill something big, or like way late game if you draw it and you have enough mana, you will sometimes hard cast it, but most of the time you're not paying mana for it.
What do you Green Sun for?
Anything.
These seem like interesting includes.
Green Sun, I think, is just good because, like, sometimes you just Green Sun for Tarmogoyf. Most usefully, I think you can Green Sun for, like, Reclamation Sage, Tireless Tracker, Dryad Militant. Those ones that I mentioned before that sort of, like, hate on stuff. Scavenging Ooze is a big one. Kitchen Finks in case you're, like, behind on life.
Right, I guess in a lot of ways it's actually your... because a lot of your creatures have those extra abilities, you're almost just sort of doing a toolkit thing.
Exactly. Like you could go into a Thrun, Burning Tree Shaman could be good, Great Sable Stag. So this is like a what do I need right now?
Right.
Like even just playing this to hit Reclamation Sage is pretty good.
And because you've spent and because you really are emphasizing undercosted cards.
Yeah.
The 1 extra mana for the Green Sun is not that big
fine.
a deal. Yeah.
This one might be getting cut, but I'm going to test it.
I was really excited about this card.
I think it's very good.
Yeah.
It may not be good in this deck because
that's reasonable.
We're talking about Eldritch Evolution. So 1 green, sacrifice a creature, search your library for a creature card of CMC X or less, where X is 2 plus the sacrifice creature's CMC. Put it on the battlefield, exile Eldritch Evolution. This card's really great. I don't play any 5 drops. or 6 drops. And I don't know that my toolkit is big enough to warrant this. This is supremely good in combo.
Yeah.
And I think it's supremely good in like actual toolkit.
Yeah, like when you find Kiki Jiki with this.
Yeah, but
right,
like this deck, maybe this just wants to be another burn spell.
Yeah.
Or another creature.
Yeah,
It's
like,
probably fine, but I think that it's not at its like zenith.
yeah.
So it's like a one-time pod. sort of
Yeah,
thing.
it's a one-time pod for less mana and more impact. So, to wrap it up here, we've got land and artifacts. So the land is, let's see,
You play 7
7 fetches.
Yeah,
So
every
this is-
relevant fetch.
Yeah, Verdant Catacombs, Scalding Tarn, Misty Rainforest, Bloodstained Mire, Arid Mesa, Windswept Heath, and Wooded Foothills. These all fetch for green or red. To get Stomping Ground.
And you're playing the off-color fetches too, eh? Just for deck thinning?
No,
No,
well, because they don't hit anything.
Yeah.
These all have to hit red or green.
Right, but like, you're doing like the like green blue fetches and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, if it fetches red or green, I am playing it.
Right.
Like, deck thinning is not super effective in Highlander.
No, it's really not. Like, it's overrated.
It's, like, there are cases where shuffling your deck is useful.
Yeah, like if you're getting Fate Sealed by Jace,
Yeah.
shuffling is good. If you are Fate Sealing yourself, or if you're brainstorming, shuffling is good. But I think that the actual statistics in Highlander is like, if you fetch like 3 times, you get some fractional percent better draws.
So
Yeah.
It's
so-
not that big.
if you're, so what's the advantage to? Is the idea that you're using those to fetch
Yeah.
to fetch multis that have the
Yep.
basic
Yeah,
land type?
all of these lands are able to fetch these 3 lands. So Taiga, Cinderglade, and Stomping Ground. So it's like I'm playing 7 more copies of all of these cards.
Right.
So like this entire suite is basically like I'm playing 10 Taigas,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Sometimes better than Taiga. This is the reason fetch lands are so good. It's like you pay 1 life and you just find your best land. So it's like playing virtual additional copies
Yeah,
of that
like
land.
I've heard people say, like, the secret to Legacy is realizing that the fetches are actually better than the duels.
Yep, because you only need like 1, maybe 2 duels.
Yeah. Well, not the secret to Legacy,
well,
but
not
one of
the
the
secret,
one of
one
the
of them.
tricks in Legacy.
Yeah.
Or one of the
One of
important
the things.
points.
A couple more duels that I'm playing, just like Rootbound Crag, Copperline Gorge, Carplucent Forest. These are all like the most playable duels, mainly because they will usually come in untapped
Yes.
and they tap for both colors,
Yes.
which is important. The exception being Raging Ravine, because it's a creature land that gets huge when you attack with it, and it's also a duel. This is the only tap land in the deck. And then here at the bottom are some weirdo kind of toolkitty cards. There's Treetop Village. That's another one that comes in
Yep.
tap. It's really good. It's a 3/3 with trample when you activate it. It taps for green. Play this card. It's very good. Barbarian Ring, a little bit more reach again. It's it taps for red, but hurts you. And then if you have Threshold, you can turn it into a shock. A colorless shock
Right.
that sometimes
That's
hits
uncounterable.
that is uncounterable. So you can just sometimes get people with it. And then a weirdo include Undiscovered Paradise. This land comes in untapped, taps for any color, but the downside is at the beginning of your next untap phase, return it to your hand.
Man, if only there were cards with landfall in your deck.
Yeah, like Tireless Tracker.
Yeah.
Or cards that are good with, well, I play Winter Orb.
Yeah. Spoilers.
So getting 2 untapped lands per turn is pretty clutch.
Yeah.
Wasteland is in here, as well as getting into our points list, Strip Mine. Because my points in this kind of deck they're honestly kind of boring. Because the points in the deck are Strip Mine and then 2 Moxes, which I have proxies of because I don't own actual Moxes. So it's Mox Ruby, Mox Emerald. That's the points, it's 9. And then at the very bottom we have Skull Clamp, which is 0 points right now for some reason.
Yeah, that's
And Winter Orb, which is sort of part of the mana denial strategy. And then the rest
Polar bears for scale.
is 6 basic mountains, 6 forests.
Tell me which basics you're playing.
I am playing the Alexi Bricklot, Shards of Alara mountain. I don't know if the card recognizer will hit
the
that.
Jund
Probably
mountain.
not. The Jund mountain.
With the volcano, basically.
And the Craig Mullins Time Spiral Forest, which are my favorites.
Good
so-
calls. Good, I endorse these basics.
So yeah.
Now I'm noticing that you have you've got an assortment of sort of, you've got some delve stuff, you've got the scavenging ooze, you've got the elf that stops things going to your graveyard. Like you've got, it seems like you've got a little bit of not sort of non-bow, but kind of some
happens-
fighting for your graveyard.
Yeah, it happens so seldom though. Like the thing is, Tarmogoyf and Scavenging Ooze are so stupidly good that you play them together even though they're actually a non-bow.
Right.
Again, because it's like you might just draw one or the other, and even if you have both, they're still good. And yeah, because it's Highlander, the amount of variance doesn't make that much of an issue. I do keep the number of delve cards down in most of the decks I build to just like the very best ones, because I don't want to be stuck in a situation where I'm playing like 6 delve spells and I cast Tombstalker, they bounce it, and then I can never cast anything again.
Right, right.
But those cards are really good. So maybe in something.
Yeah, no, this seems sweet. How's it performed so far?
Very good. I played against Surge with his BattleBots deck and just mopped the floor.
Yeah, BattleBots is Grixis Affinity.
Yeah, it's Grixis Affinity. I think that deck's really sweet. When he actually gets it to go off, I don't stand a chance.
Right.
But if
High variance.
Yeah, if I get there first, then he's just toast. It's a very good feeling casting Might of Old Krosa into a Monastery Swiftspear.
Yeah.
Get him.
Yeah.
Very big.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Just
really
six
fun.
someone on turn 2.
Yeah, pretty much. Like this deck can have like really explosive turns sometimes, because if you're just like land mocks, aggressive creature, untap, pump, 12 you,
Right.
that can happen.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I'm almost considering playing. Actually, there's one card I want to put in here. I want to cut Eldritch Evolution for Berserk.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask about Berserk.
I want Berserk in this deck.
Yeah.
It's as cheap as it's ever been.
Yeah, $30
and
right now.
I've got to get a copy of that card. I think it would be nuts in this deck.
Has the Eternal Masters printing driven down the cost of the original printing at all?
Maybe a little bit.
Or not, sorry, not Eternal Masters, Conspiracy too.
Yeah, I want to get a collector's edition version just because the art is better. Because the guy has like this priceless expression of just like, "Roar!"
Yeah.
And the flavor on the card is great because it looks like he just discovered the concept of dual wielding
Yeah.
and is going to destroy the enemy, and as he makes his victory pose, behead himself by accident.
Yeah.
It's like, I have 2 hands.
And like the
I
sort
could
of,
hold 2 swords.
like the ink sort of what causes that effect?
Is it oil on ink?
Maybe, but yeah, the sort of like red mist blood rage background. This card looks amazing.
Yeah.
So, to explain the card, Berserk is 1 green instant. The Oracle text is only cast this during combat, I think.
before the combat damage
step. Target creature gets plus X plus O, where X is its power. It also gains trample, and then at the end of your turn, it dies. So it doubles its power and gives it trample.
And that doubles any pump spells that are
Yeah,
on the creature.
so you know, you swing in with something, you give it one of those +4/+4 spells, raise its power to like 7 or something, then make it 14,
Yeah.
and just
I like the original alpha printing of Berserk. The text on it, as with a lot of alpha printing cards.
Oh, this is going to be priceless.
Until end of turn, target creature's current power doubles, and it gains the trample ability. If it attacks, target creature is destroyed at the end of turn. This spell cannot be cast after the current turn's attack is completed.
Man, I'm glad that
Somebody
they went back.
had a job
I'm
to
glad
do
they went back
with
to
that
Oracle
one.
text.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
We're going to wrap it up here, I think.
but to summarize this deck, and this follows the wisdom of any Highlander deck is choose a plan and pick only cards that support that plan. Like Ben Wheeler, I overheard some wisdom that he was saying is just like, pet cards are fine, but cut the cute shit.
Yeah.
Like, have a plan, and the plan of this deck is get in hard, fast, wipe them out, and just play all the cards that do that,
Yep.
and then it will perform reliably. And because the thing that wins Highlander is consistency. And you can either do that by just playing tons of copies of cards that have very similar effects, or by playing cards that filter you.
Yeah, lots
Which
of
is
big
the reason why
spells.
blue is so powerful.
Right.
But you can do it in other decks. So
All right.
hope this gives you something to chew on, something to brew with.
Yeah, a kind of a different plan here. But anyway, so Tap Tap Concede is brought to you by you, the viewers, through our Patreon at www.patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. So thank you very much for doing this to yourselves. Good work.
You did it.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the future.
Yeah, we'll see you next week on Tap Tap Concede.
Bye-bye.